Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome. I want to welcome here. This is a workshop about awakening your feminine power, being strong, being sensual. My name is Anna, and I will lead you for 75 minutes here today. And this is a place for you to reconnect with your sensual, powerful, embodied self. So it's really exciting topic. It's something I've been focusing on as a coach for a little while now. And I base a lot of my coaching from my experience, my personal life experience, but also coaching women, coaching people in general. And so you're going to get a condensed version of what I've learned from my years as a dancer. I was a stripper for many years and I drew a lot of learnings from that. And then I did other kind of work in terms of leading companies, creating my own businesses, some good, some bad. And I learned a lot from that. And so I'm going to share about that today. And we're also it's going to be quite a practical thing where I'm going to ask you questions and you can answer in the chat throughout the workshop. The idea is to make sure this is action focused. This is like next steps. What's your next step? So I really want you to leave feeling like you made progress on the topic. And it wasn't just, oh, it was nice. It's like, no, actually some big changes happened for me in this call. And in order to do that, you need to allow it to yourself. So I want you to show up fully. And I want you to imagine you paid £1,000 to be in that workshop. How would you show up if you had paid £1,000 to be here? How would you listen? How would you receive the information? That's the kind of energy I want you to bring in. You're here, you may as well just go fully in. And in exchange, I'm going to give you my full presence. I'm going to be listening to your questions and concerns. I'm going to be as generous as I can throughout this 75 minutes. So this is really co-creation. How does that sound? Does that sound good? Everyone, can I see some thumbs up either on camera or in the chat? I want people who participate and show up for themselves. That's the kind of woman that is really about leadership for yourself as a woman. Like, how do you show up? And there's this say, it's like how you show up in one thing is how you show up in everything. So are you giving yourself the chances today to take everything you can from that and learn and challenge yourself and grow? Or are you just like checking Instagram and kind of, not really focused? So yeah, thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you, Rebecca, Pia, Aiden, Susie, thank you. So let's crack on. So this workshop is for you, woman, if you feel like you've achieved a lot, you feel disconnected from your body and essence. So yes, you've achieved a lot. You've been leading, you've been maybe leading a family life, maybe career, holding the household together. You've been leading, but you've been doing that from your masculine energy and you feel disconnected from your body, from your essence as a woman. You feel maybe you're not quite sure who she is. There is energy there, there's something there, and you're like, okay, I'm at this stage of my life where I'm ready to explore that. I want to inspire you to get more flow in your life, more creativity, more sensuality, being more in touch with who you are, your body, your power. I want you to feel magnetic. I want you to feel more expressive and sensual and in love. Maybe it's in work, maybe it's with your partner, family. And I want you to still be productive and still be tapping into your masculine energy. And at the same time, also tapping into your feminine. So the first thing I want to say is you don't need to decrease your masculine in order to grow your feminine. I believe that the more you hold like strength as a masculine, the more space you have for your feminine. And I'm going to show you a visual about that in a minute. So I want to tell you who I am quickly. My name is Anna. I'm from France originally. I've been living abroad for 17 years, 18 years. And I lived many different lives. I've done a lot in my life. I've been living in Canada for 10 years and the UK for 8 or something. I've been traveling a lot, living in Bali for a while. And I've done also lots of different careers. I was a dancer for many years, a stripper, and I learned so much from that. I was dancing from a place of strength, a place of power. I felt very empowered. And I grew up in a family raised by women, my mom and my grandma, and they let me grow very freely. And I don't think I felt any pressure from society to be a woman, like in terms of like, oh, being sensual is not okay, being a very feminine is, I always kind of explored that because I didn't know any other ways. And now I'm glad I did that, because now I use that to help empower women to really explore all sides of themselves. And after dancing, I did some nonprofit. So for 10 years, I was in the nonprofit sector. I'm 43 now. And I also learned, to create businesses. I had some really successful charities where I made big impact, and also some not successful businesses as well. I learned to tap into my masculine, and I studied law when I was in France, when I was younger. And when I was studying law, it was very serious, very rigid. And I was very much in my masculine. Go, 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 like performance, it wasn't good for me. I was getting migraines. I was really anxious. I just wasn't really me. And so when I explore more the dancing, I felt much more flowy, much more in tune with who I was. And I realized at that point and throughout my life that, in fact, I need both. I need a strong feminine, a strong masculine, and I will explain what I mean by that. But what's important for you to know is that for many years, I felt I was too much. For many, many years, I felt like, oh my God, like if I really embrace who I am and if I embrace my sensuality, I'm going to be too much. I'm going to be a threat for other women. I might be, maybe men, I'm giving the men the power. Like I had all these concerns. And so, but then I realized, no, it's not true, because I danced for many years, like 10 years. And I learned that, in fact, the more I was bold, the more I was myself, the more I was going deep into who I am and owning it, the more power I had, the more influence I had. I mean that in a good way. Like, I don't mean manipulation. I mean like lifting everyone up with you. Like you're like empowered, you're authentic, you're feeling good, and you're lifting everyone up with you. So now I decided to focus my coaching on that. And now when I introduce myself, I'm not so anxious anymore about being too much. I'm not so anxious about, oh, maybe it's overwhelming for some people. Maybe it is, but it's irrelevant. What's important is that I know that this very diverse, various life experiences has made me who I am. And now I can support other women to do that. And so that's just an invitation for you to think, you have all these different sides of yourself, different facets, and they might not make much sense. They might contradict each other. Some part of you might be really outgoing. Some part of you might be very shy, things like that. But you know what? They're part of you. And the sooner you embrace all of that, the sooner you own that, the more you're going to get from life and the more you're going to deliver. And, So how does it sound so far? I'm seeing your comments. So feel free to comment or react as well. And just want to take a second to say, okay, so Pia is healing from a breakup. Yeah, been there. So Pia and anyone else that's going through some life changes, this is the best time to do this kind of work. This is the time where you're vulnerable, you're feeling raw, and you're open-hearted. And that's usually when you're the most ready to see the world differently, and you're going to absorb much more the work. You're going to be receptive to this work. So I like when people come to me to work with me when they're in that kind of transition, like next stage, like things are shifting in their life. That's usually when you're not so resistant. You're like, okay, what's next for me? So also, if you see a comment you resonate with, put a thumbs up to the comment. So the idea is also we're building a small community here. We're lifting each other up. You want to use more feminine energy and less masculine. Yes. Okay. So you will see, you don't need to decrease your masculine. That's what's good. You can have it all. You can be it all, and it doesn't need to be draining to be in your masculine. Susie, after a long, hard year with some of the biggest challenge I have faced, I want to reconnect with myself. Okay. So Susie, tell me, what does it mean to you to reconnect with yourself? Write that down, please. What does it mean? And thank you for your comments, everyone. Susie, yes, you are in the right place. Joanna, sounds great. Nice to hear your story. I can relate a lot to what you are saying. Yes. Isla resonates, being through a massive change this past year, 11 months out of a 9-year relationship. Yes, yes. So I've been on and off involved with somebody for 12 years, and I broke up in November. It took me 2 months to recover. It was like rock bottom, kind of like you break up, you have to move country, everything. So it was like the most dramatic breakup. And I'm like, I've never been better. And that's like, we're not, because you can really tap into that inner fire. And that's what I'm helping you to do today, and maybe more in the future. But like, you can tap with your inner fire, your strength, your resilience. You can develop that. You have it, and it's about unleashing it. It's not even really strengthening. It's not like you're forcing, because we're talking about feminine energies, sensuality. You're unleashing. You're letting yourself come out. So a breakup is a great thing. You know what I mean. Okay. So I want to tell you about my method. So I created a method. It's called the Badass Woman Blueprint. It's a 3-month method. Do not worry, I'm not selling you anything. I will read your comments in a minute. I'm not selling you anything, so you can relax today. At the end, I will have a gift for you if you want to take that to the next stage, and it will be a gift. What I want to tell you is I created the Badass Woman Blueprint with the idea of helping women tapping into their strong sensual power, and to do that through embodiment. So it's really, what is the body telling us? What is the body holding? And what you see when you work on that over 3 months, you see that your body is holding your truth. It's your essence. And instead of operating from your head, which I associate more with your masculine energy, you can operate from your body and your head and your mind and your soul. And you're like so much more powerful. You're much more able to get what you want in life. And when I say you can get what you want in life, I mean that you see it in real life, like you see real examples. So for instance, I have a client called Letitia. She embraced her feminine, but like strong feminine. She was in her weak feminine, meaning she was being a bit girly and cute, and she had that energy, like very young energy. She's a mother, like, she's got her shit together, but she was more like not really fully comfortable with being feminine. And I helped her understand what it means for her to be free, to be bold, and to be sensual. And now she's like way more embracing her sensual strength. And that means she's more bubbly, she's playful, and she's bringing that into her business. So that's her leadership style. And so as a result, she's more aligned, she's more authentic, she's happier, and she's driving business naturally because she's herself and she's showing herself fully. That's just an example. Just generally, when I was dancing, I know that the more I was embodied and radiant, the more sensual, the more listening to my body, the more I was like showing up. Like it was like I owned the place, It was like I walked somewhere and I don't know, things kind of flow naturally. And that's a mindset work, but that's also work you do through action. And so my method is about helping you develop 3 pillars, and I'm going to share my screen so you can see. And then I will go into each, and then we can have a discussion. So this is my method. It's called the Badass Woman Blueprint. You have 3 elements, and those elements will help you get closer to who you need to be, who you want to be. The goal of this whole thing is about growing your inner fire, reconnecting with your inner fire. Who is this version of yourself? Who is your next magnetic version of yourself? You can call it the Kundalini, you can call it the Chi, you can call it the life force, however you want to call it, however you want to visualize it. That's your strength, that's your core self. And I believe that my experience has taught me that you can tap into that fire or that force by tackling 3 areas: being more free, being more sensual, and being more bold. All of these from a perspective of a feminine strength. I will go deeper into each. But first, I want to ask you right off the bat, when you see that, which one do you think you need to work the most on? Which one are you like, I need the most? Write that in the chat. I would love to know. I'll write my question in the chat as well. Which of these, freedom, boldness, sensual, do you think you need the most right now? Susie is saying boldness. Aiden is saying sensual. Isla is saying boldness. Pia is saying boldness and sensual. Sensual, boldness, okay. Amazing. You will see that freedom, often we don't see we're like, freedom, but you will see what I mean. Like when I say freedom, I mean freedom to be a woman, freedom to be in your feminine, freedom to be unapologetic. What I mean is like, you can dress up and look stunning and not being afraid of what it means, So thank you for sharing where you're at. Joanna is saying freedom. Okay. So I want to tell you about the freedom. Let's dive into the freedom. So what I mean by freedom is when you lack freedom, you feel like life is happening to you. So maybe, yeah, you are leading, maybe you're leading at work or your family, but you're kind of go, 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 and you're stuck in that. You're over functioning. You're like almost burning out, and you're like having to show up every day, and you're in that almost the hamster wheel or whatever, like you kind of stuck in that, and you don't really feel the freedom to be yourself anymore. You lost the connection to why you're doing all of that. And most importantly, you're at the stage where you lost connection to your sense of identity. Often, because we live in a world that is masculine, more still led by men, generally with men rule, which please don't misunderstand. I love men and I love masculine energy. But we do, as a matter of fact, we live in a world that has been dominated by men for many, many years, for always. And therefore, we have learned that in order to perform and achieve, we needed to function that way. Again, this is good. This allowed us to be where we are. But there's a strong other side of you that if you tap into, you're going to get so much further because you have forgotten a big chunk. Does that resonate so far? I want to give me a thumbs up if you connect to that. When I talk about being in your feminine, sensual boldness and masculine boldness or freedom, The typical stereotypes, those are completely woman-made concept. This is not science. This is just an archetype that we're using to describe a mode of functioning. So keep that in mind. And also just acknowledging as well that men, women, all genders have masculine, feminine. Some people have more feminine, some people masculine. It's not really to do with your gender. It's to do with how you show up in the world. I want to acknowledge that because it's not to say every woman should be in their feminine. It's just if you're here, it means you have that calling. The feminine, sensual boldness for me, it's being expressive, magnetic, intuitive, embodied, emotionally attuned, receptive. So you are receptive, but you're powerful. It's from a leadership place. It's not like you're passive. And you're cyclical, you embrace the flow of life, the seasons, your cycle, you're cyclical, you understand that. And you have a creative flow, like you naturally have that intuition, you follow your guts much more. The masculine, which is a mode I imagine many of you know very well, is being more direct, assertive, structured. You focus on outcome. The strategy is a big chunk of being in your masculine. You're action-driven, protective, and you have a linear thinking. So you're thinking, you're like going. I have personally a very strong masculine. I think maybe because I was raised by two women who were very much in their feminine, I think I had to kind of develop that strong masculine. And I believe the strong masculine helps you be the container for a strong feminine. So when I'm talking about the freedom, being free, I mean giving permission yourself to show up. So the red in this is what you're seeing on the screen. The red for me is the masculine. Maybe there's more red at moments, less depending which area of your life. Some areas might have a lot of yellow, which is the feminine. Some area might have more masculine. So I want you to think of it as the masculine is the container. It's the shell. It's the protective layer. And if you have a strong masculine, you can hold a really strong feminine. The feminine is more gentle. It's more fragile in the sense that it's raw. It's more raw. But it's so amazing. And it's creative. And it's intuitive. And it's sensual. It's sexual. And it's based around pleasure and just the moment, being in the moment. And that's so beautiful. That's where life is, for me, that's where life is. I really hope that visual helps you understand that this is not a scale. This is not, oh, I was like that, masculine was here, feminine was here, I need to do that. I need to decrease my masculine. I need to shrink myself to become, no, I believe you need both really. There's space for all of it. Let's think abundance. There's room for all of it. How does it sound so far? Tell me, everyone. Can you put a comment, reaction? Susie is saying, I love the idea that the strong masculine can support the strong feminine, that they are not opposing force. Yes. It's true for men as well. Like, we love a man energy. Like, we love a man that like provides safety and everything, but it also is very, very sensitive. We love that. Aiden is giving me a thumbs up. Good. Thank you. Let's just take a second to sink into our body and close our eyes. And I'm going to get you just to connect with your body for a second. So close your eyes and breathe deeply in a very natural way. So you're slowing down, but without force. You're just listening to your body and listening to how your body wants to breathe right now. What kind of inhale is it needing? What kind of exhale? And try to relax your face and your shoulders and let your body weight on the chair. Your feet are firmly touching the ground and you're letting gravity holding you. So you can relax. And I want you to just check in with your body right now. And ask your body, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Is there any body sensation that you want me to be aware of? Any concern, any anxiety? You're asking, you're having a mini dialogue with your own body, and there's no judgment. You're just listening. And listen, what is your body telling you right now? And you're just going to make note of what your body needs. And I want you to ask your body now, what kind of freedom do you need? What are you craving for? Where do you need to feel more free? Just ask your body, ask your mind. How do you feel it? Do you feel it anywhere? And we're going to ask this last question to our mind and our body. What is a role or identity that's no longer serving you? Is there a role, an identity that is no longer serving me, serving you? In other words, what do I need to drop? What do I need to leave behind in order to feel more free and more connected? And when you have your message, if you have a message or a body sensation, you can just come back, open your eyes, come back with me. And I would love for you to write in the comment if there was any message, any answer for you. The question is there a role, identity that is no longer serving you? Is there something you need to drop? Let me know and write that in the chat. Okay, so I give you a second to type, everyone. Okay, so Rebecca is saying not to be ashamed to be sensual. Yes, I hear that all the time. I work with people who feel self-conscious, ashamed to be a woman, to be sensual. So we will address that in a second. Doormat, maybe. So I suspect, I'm assuming, Rika, you mean like you don't want to be a doormat, like meaning maybe you don't have strong boundaries, something like that? Aiden is saying tired, lower back pain. Okay, so that your body is speaking to you. Pain is awful, but pain is a language. It's the way your body talks to you, because your body cannot say words. So it speaks through pain and pleasure. So I imagine you know that, but it's sometimes help when you're in pain to remember that. Susie, sense of being a victim, that I can only react to what I receive. I can drop that and come back to the woman that chooses her path. Yes. Not to be the caretaker for everybody. Absolutely. No more bad conscience. Okay. So guilt guilt, shame is also sadly something women experience a lot. And I believe it's to do with our culture, including religious, pardon me if you're religious, but religious bullshit, which teach us from very young age that women are bad, women are sins, and women are just temptation. And that really pisses me off. And so my life mission is to help women to come back to who they are. There's no shame of being a woman, and there's no shame in being sensual, because we are beautiful creature. And I don't see why we can't use that strength. Men use all the strength they have to perform in the world. Let's use all our strength. And we have beautiful bodies. We are beautiful being. We are more gracious, we're more sensual, and I want us to embrace that. Maria is saying to no longer play small, to procrastinate. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so now I'm going to move into the second shift. Being bold, for me, I describe that as being confident, but from a grounded perspective. And being bold is through action and being the full expression of yourself. So whoever you are, go as far as you can with it. Take it as deep as you can, because this is life. Life is here to be lived. And so if you've been hiding, downplaying, holding back your self-expression, if you're afraid to take too much space, if you're afraid to be too much, the being bold is really for you. So being bold is about being authentic in who you are. It's about being who you are fully. And I believe, again, you can use your body to connect to your nature, to who you are. And often when you listen to your body, when you're able to connect to the cravings, you will know which action to take. It's called intuition. And it's called just listening to your body. And I believe that for us to become strong beings, strong feminine beings, we need to go back to that and really understand what it means to be confident in a grounded way. So this means the way you talk, your posture, your style, the choices you make. Are they, like the actions you take, are they speaking your truth? Are they matching your truth? And so when I go back to that example I gave you earlier from my client, Letitia, who has her own cosmetic business, beauty business, she wasn't being bold. She was holding back because she was worried to be a bit too childlike, a bit too cute, a bit too pink. And so she was trying to be like organized. And I mean, it's good to be organized, but she wasn't being herself. She was like not really going fully in. And so we worked on that. We worked on, okay, like what is your body telling you? Like, what is your mind? What is your soul telling you? Like, and you do visualization, you can dance. There's lots of practice you do to access that message that you have in you. And what's the voice of your business? And so it's like a full rebranding. It's like rebranding your business that is really aligned to, yeah, maybe you're bright pink. You're all about bright pink. And maybe you're all about being cute. And that's great. Or maybe you're more femme fatale. You're like red and lipstick and, or maybe you're like, what is your version of that sensual, bold woman? When I talk about being bold, I want to invite you to map out how you show up in life. So this is how I see it. You can see on the screen, I have 4 boxes: strong masculine, weak masculine, strong feminine, weak feminine. So which area of your life do you show yourself in your strong feminine or your strong masculine and you're happy with? Which area of your life do you feel like, I'm not really owning it. I'm not really going full power. I'm not being seen. I'm holding back. So this is my question for you. Where in your life are you holding yourself back from being fully seen? We can take a second to feel. So you can also close your eyes again if you want, and just take a minute to breathe and just feel it out. Where in your life are you holding yourself back from being fully seen? And I'm talking about action as well. What is it that you're not doing that you know you need to go deeper. A lot of my clients, they come to me because they had some sort of relationship with somebody and that challenged them a lot, and they're a bit lost and they're a bit confused in who they are as women. And a lot of women tell me I was too much in my masculine with him, or they describe it and it fits for me the weak masculine. So it's like I was kind of leading, I was deciding on things, I was telling him off, I was doing the emotional labor at home. And basically, I didn't want to do that. So I was in my weak masculine and I was also in my weak feminine, which for me means not really owning it, like just being like trying to, I don't know, you're kind of in between. You're not really a strong woman, like you're not really sensual and fully leaning in. So do you know what I mean? We work when that woman that I'm thinking about today, that client, we worked on that queen energy. I know we hear that all the time in the social media, but queen energy, like being more like, okay, I'm going to be more bold in stating my truth, stating what I want. What do I need? And you state it in your relationship. You don't ask, you state what your needs are and what you want. And you set the tone. And then you're in your strong feminine. That client, she's doing that. She's practicing that. And this relationship is, the balance is getting better because she's in her strong feminine now, because that's what she wants in her relationship. She wants to be in her strong feminine. So what happened when you're strongly in mother energy? You know what's interesting? That's my opinion, and that's me witnessing that from my clients, is actually often when we end up being the mother at home or with our partner, which many of us end up being, we are in our weak masculine, not feminine. That's the irony, because we somehow become those things that I described. We have to provide all the structure. We need to be strategic. We need to be, and at the end, we're not actually in our strong feminine. It takes work to shift that. It takes work, but you have it in you. I want to know where you are with that. Where are you in your strong feminine or strong masculine? I would love to know. What would bold self-expression look like for you today? That's the question I have for you. It's probably a bit clearer. What would bold self-expression look like for you today? What action would it be? Rika is saying, choosing myself. Okay. So Rika, I want to invite you to go deeper. What would it mean concretely in your day-to-day if you choose yourself? What would happen? So how would the choosing yourself, how would it express itself in life? What does it mean? Maybe it's the way you talk to someone or at work. What kind of boundaries, or how does it manifest in real life? Aiden is saying, take action for myself for a change. So same Aiden, what kind of action? Tell me, give me an example. What action would you take that you're not taking right now that would allow you to be your full, bold self-expression? I know I'm challenging you, everyone. Book a solo holiday. Yes, I like that. So that's a concrete action that would reflect who you are. And that's a bold action. And that's you're in your strong feminine. You're like, yeah, I need that. I'm making it happen. If I am brave enough, yes. Yeah, I go on holiday solo all the time. It's amazing. It's the best. Maria is saying, breaking free from pleasing others and making decisions based on my feelings, not comply with other belief system. Yes. Give me an example as well, Maria. Give me an example. What does it mean to stop pleasing others? What decision would you make? I want you to tell me, what decision would you make today? You can make a decision. Rika, not centering men's situationships at everything at least. Yes. Basically, you're setting the tone. You're setting the rule for yourself. That's what I'm hearing. Rebecca, no, sorry, Pia before. I have Pia saying, setting clearer boundaries toward colleagues, quit my job. So yes, sometimes it means drastic steps, but please, everyone, do not freak out. You don't need to change your life. Sometimes some small steps will naturally lead to bigger steps. Rebecca, address my court paper due to the pain. Okay, good. Susie, letting myself free and process the things that have damaged my self-confidence so that I can enter a new relationship in a whole and confident way. Love that. Yes. And I even want Susie to tell you, like, go even deeper. Like, how do you let yourself feel and process? What does it mean? Is it meditation? Is it dancing? Is it speaking? Is it getting therapy, getting a coach? What it is? No more bad conscience. Same. What's the action on that? To move in with my partner without the need for marriage. Living my life on my terms. Yes, I love that. Raised around boys and also have a boy, so lots of masculinity around you. That could be good news, Aiden, because that can allow you to be in your strong feminine. Pia, sign up for a feminine dance class again. Okay, good. Well, maybe you and I will talk after. I teach women to dance sensual. That's not all I do. That's just one of the offer, but I love it. Just connect to your body. I love the fact that you're showing up vulnerable. You're like, yeah, I'm sharing. I love that. So I appreciate that. Meditation, sitting with uncomfortable, being uncomfortable to stop running away. Absolutely. Susie, so a big part of the work I do with myself and with my clients is to sit with your emotions and your body sensations and to sit with them, to lie down with them, to dance with them, to, sorry, but masturbate on them, like actually really feel pleasure in those pains. Let it come out, like use your vibrator and just like let the the pain and the stress and the limitation and the whatever it is, you let it come out, like it's energy. And so I hope you give yourself permission to do that. I'm giving you permission to do that. Now you have to give yourself permission to do that. And those things are practice. Now we're going to head into the last part of the three, which I think will help you with that as well, will help all of you. And I know many of you came initially because you want to be more connected to your sensual. So that's what I'm sharing now. So being sensual is the biggest part of the work I do. And it is for you if you feel disconnected from your body, you feel like you're operating from your head, especially if you work online. We're just a head and we're kind of switching off. If you're not connected to your body, to your sensation, maybe you don't exercise as much as you would like, maybe you don't move as much as you would like, or maybe when you exercise, you do in a automatic mode, you're not actually really connecting. Perhaps you're feeling disconnected from your pleasure, you're feeling guilt, you're feeling limited. Perhaps you're feeling connected to show up, like being visually sensual and even maybe sexual. Like maybe you're not allowing yourself to be sexual with yourself or with anyone. With my clients, it manifests often in you feel like if you're being sensual, you're going to giving away your power to men. I hear that all the time. It's like, oh, but I feel like if I'm too sensual, they start looking at me, they start reacting in a way that I don't like, and therefore I'm giving away my power. That is true if you don't fully own it. When I dance, when I don't feel empowered, when I was dancing, when I was stripping, I walk around in the room, I'm wearing very sexy clothes, very little amount of clothes. And it's my job to show up fully. It's my job to show up grounded, confident in a grounded, connected way. It's my job to show my grace, to show my sensuality and my sexuality, I own it. And there is an energy when you really, again, go bold, when you go fully, when you express, when you are fully owning it. I guarantee you from years and years and years of experience that you have the control, you have the power when you do that. So often when you give away your power, it's because you're not owning it. You are a bit uncomfortable with it. And men or people, even if you feel like the other one is other women will judge me. I hear that all the time from clients. If you feel other women will judge you, it's because you are not owning it fully. And you are, you know, people feel the crack. People can feel doubt. People can feel when you're like, there's a shadow there. And they go in almost. And a good example to tell you is when I used to be a stripper. Most people most former stripper will not share that with the world. Most women are feeling a bit ashamed, a bit embarrassed by it. And in fact, I have many girlfriends who feel shame. And when they finally share it, like let's say they meet a new person, they finally share it, they are uncomfortable with it. And usually their past, their stripping past becomes a problem for that new person. My experience, I've always felt extremely proud of being a stripper. I always wanted to be a stripper. I'm so proud of it. I swear to God, there was no one time in my life, in all my life partners, that it was a problem because I fully own it and they can feel it when I share about it. And I think you can feel it today. When I share that with you, I'm like, yeah, I was like shining and I was using that to make money. Oh my God. And I was having so much fun. And I love dancing. For me, it was like expressing myself. It was helping me achieve so many things. And nobody ever picks on it, even though I share very publicly. So it really shows you that it's about owning who you are. So if you fully own your sensual, sexual power, you are not going to be worried about what other people think, giving away your power or woman. And also, I want you to know as well that when you do it, when you own who you are, you're doing it from a generous place. You're doing it, you're lifting everyone up with you because you're being authentic. And when you're authentic, people feel comfortable with you. They feel this person is authentic, therefore I can be myself. And they want to be around you. And so by being authentic and showing you're fully, including your sensual self, you're giving permission to other women to be as well. And so you're lifting everyone up with you. So in that way, you're very feminine. Community, it's community. I want to ask you 2 questions. Okay, thanks for the heart, Susie. Hayden, thank you. So I want to ask you that question. What part of your sensual self have you been hiding and why? Thank you, Pia. What part of your sensual self have you been hiding and why? So feel free to feel again. You can close your eyes with me for a second. And just try to feel, tap into that sensual, that inner fire. You can visualize that woman, visualize that being. Perhaps she's standing in front of you and you're seeing her. You're seeing her silhouette. Perhaps she's blurry. Perhaps she's very strikingly neat. Maybe you see, or maybe it's just an energy that you can feel. And look at her and look at you and think, what's the gap? What it is that I've been hiding? What part of my sensual self I've been hiding? You can ask her as well. She can tell you. And you can ask your body as well. You can feel it. Perhaps you've been hiding pleasure. hiding from pleasure. So when you're ready, open your eyes and write down in the comments what's been lacking. I wrote my question in the chat. My openness and flirtiness because of a controlling relationship. Yes. So openness, flirtiness often comes with playfulness. It's a big part, I believe, of being sensual. And so being sensual is being connected to your senses, is touch, smell, looking at beautiful things, indulging. So this is being sensual. It starts with your senses. The word sensual starts from the root of the word is senses. So often being flirty, being playful can start back, listen to music, have a massage, dance silly, whatever. Flirting for me is never for sex, only being playful and feeling alive. Yes. So yes, that might be true for you, Pia, but there's also nothing wrong with wanting sex. I'll just say. Rebecca, no, not allowed to be sensual. Sensual eyes as see mother look at me with disappointment. It's wrong and I'm an outcast. Call a slag name, yes, as a teenager. Religious, yes, exactly. The part about freedom that I talked about earlier is a lot about that, is freeing yourself from religious background, freeing yourself from influence. And yeah, Pia, you agree with me. Okay. Okay, so I want to ask you now, what takeaway do you have so far in this workshop? What is your main takeaway? Susie is saying, I've been rushing, although not holding back from sexual or sensual experiences. I need to slow down in the moment, being more mindful to feel more from it and connect more with myself and potential partner. Absolutely. Aiden, pleasure. Yes, pleasure is part of feeling healthy. Health is pleasure. Like your body, as I said, your body talks to you either with pain or pleasure. Pain or pleasure. So, you can balance it out. You can give pleasure to your body. It's almost like perhaps that could be decreased pain. Who knows? So think of that. Rebecca, my feminine with be strong. Okay, so your feminine to be as strong as your masculine, allowed to feel sensual. Yes, exactly. Okay. Any share more takeaways? Learning how to spend more time in my feminine energy. Okay. Yes, learning. That's exactly learning. You need those things you can learn. And that's time for me to share my gift, actually. Susie, I need to do more action, stop thinking about it, and put the self-care steps in to nurture my feminine self. Love that. Everyone, I want to offer you a gift now. I really love the vibe here. I think you guys have been great at sharing and participating, and we will do question and answer. I will give you the floor in a minute to ask question and answer. Stay tuned, and we will do that. I will read more of your comments in a minute. But right now, I want to invite you to take the next step. If you feel like this really resonated for you, if you feel like this was powerful for you, I'm offering a free one-on-one session. So this is a session that is normally worth £400. I offer it to my VIP clients. I'm offering it to you because you showed up, and if you feel like really this is important work for you, then you can book the call. It's completely free. So during this call, we'll discuss where you are now, where you're at, what's holding you back, and what needs to shift before you become your magnetic sensual self. So we'll talk about your vision, like who is that person, that sensual magnetic self in a year time, and what do you need to put in place to get there? This call is free. It's a gift, but it's only for you if you feel like there's three things. I want you to have time in the next 3 months because this is an action plan. I want you to only do it if you have the time to implement the changes. If you have the energy and if it's basically a priority for you to work on yourself, a priority in your life in the next 3 months. The last one is it's only for you if you're actually seeking support in the next step. And that means financially investing in your transformation. It doesn't necessarily mean spending money with me, but I'm talking about a work that it's transformational. I'm talking about a big change in your life. And so I don't want to be wasting your time and my time talking about something that is just a nice thought. So it's only for you if you're ready to take action. Of course, it's about chemistry, and I need to make sure you're the right fit as well. And so for you to know, I have a program, it's 3 months, and we work on all the things I talked about today. And it's really about your inner fire and your sensual strength. So we can talk about that as well in the call. And if you feel like you want support, if I feel you're a good person to join the program, we'll talk. It's a small group program, tiny group. So this is the link to my calendar, and I would love for you to click now on that link if you're interested in booking. That will send you to my calendar. I also want to say that the times in the calendars, in my calendar, I have more times. So if those times don't work, send me a message on WhatsApp and we can find a different time. Aiden comment, to sit and think about my body feel wrong sometimes because of religious background. Nothing wrong with attracting attention. Yes. And you know, Aiden, the sitting and feeling and moving into your body is a natural need. It's being healthy. It's being healthy. So when I work with clients in the small group in the program, we work on that sense of guilt. And we kind of peel that off, because it's important to feel healthy. And, you are born with a body, right? We're born with a body. So it makes absolutely no sense to shut it down. And being sensual is part of that. So Susie's saying, I would like to, if you have anything from Monday next week onward, we'll WhatsApp you. I like to shape my program around people. That's why I work with small groups, because I can adapt to you. In the 3 months that I work with people, we do a lot of movement. We do dancing. And I'm giving you this information because even if you don't want to work with me, you can do that perhaps on your own or seek for that. Dancing, like free movement, but like dancing again from a body angle, not from your mind. So really letting your body flow. Visualization. I do a lot of visualization, very deep, like hypnosis, basically, where you visualize your next version of yourself. You visualize your sensual self. You visualize all of these things. And we do that again and again and again. And then we visualize the actions. And then we do writing as well. Writing is a really good way to go deep. And then there's a lot of discussions as well. Maria, I will tell you more about the fees because I have 2 different offers and I want to make sure that we're a good fit. I don't actually have anything like publicly online because I handpick who I work with, because I want to feel people are receptive. People are earlier I was telling you when you're like that open, I need to feel you're not resisting, you're open to the work. Then I work with you because it's very small groups. So I need to make sure everyone is aligned that way. Aiden, we meet up once a week online. It's a long session, like 90 minutes, sometimes even 2 hours. Then there is a WhatsApp group. I send you some challenges and stuff, like little tips. And it's light. So something I really want to say is when we work, and that's true again for you in your next stage, please understand that this work should feel good. Like this is about reconnecting to that fun, playful, sensual part of you. So whenever you meet with me, you're excited. It's fun, it's light, but it's deep. And so whatever you do next, whether it's with me or on your own or with another coach, or please like focus on your assets, focus on what makes you unique, focus on that. Don't, you've done, I'm sure you've done, I said in the, only work with me if you've done the therapy in the past or shadow work or do, inner work, whatever shape. If you've done that work, we can work together because you're ready. We're not going to go into your flaws and trying to fix you. This is not what I'm about. This is about, okay, what makes you special? When you shared, you guys, like Pia, Maria, like you shared with me like things, it's like, okay, like how do we tap into that? So it's really asset based. And I feel really strongly about that. I have experience in the charity sector working with very marginalized people, very vulnerable populations, people that fell through the crack in society and were homeless and drug addicts. And I created a charity to support them. And the angle I had was, what are your assets? Like, I know there is not much left in your life, but what is it that we can work with? And that was the charity. And it was focused on recycling and waste, not very glamorous. But the charity is still up and running. It helped so many people because we were not going into your addiction. We were not talking about what in what way you fail in life. We were talking about, okay, what is it that you're passionate about? What is it that makes you so special? And we tap into that. You're in a position where you've achieved a lot in life, and now it's about unleashing and tapping into your full self. I had a great time, so I'm very grateful for you all. I love the small group. This could be a small group. We can create our own small group if you want. And we can be in each other's company and work together for 3 months. Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Suzy, merci beaucoup.